This is my 2006-2007 model year XC70 Volvo. This is a rear anti-roll bar. These rubbers are fixed on to this anti-roll bar. So when the rubbers on the car have worn out and fail the MOT, it's a whole new bar from Volvo. 242 quid for two rubbers. Let's see how easy it is to change the lot. Okay, now I've already started to remove the old anti-roll bar. So what I've done is I've removed the drop link at the top because it was very hard to undo at the bottom. So I might just change the drop links because they're obviously original and old. Going around to here, you can see that is the rubber, which is no longer attached firmly to the old anti-roll bar, and it bolts up through here. So far, so good, undoing all of these. Apart from when you want to take it off, because you've got to feed the anti-roll bar through this gap here, it needs to twist back and downwards like that. But it goes on top of these handbrake cables, and they're not too bad because you can just undo them here and the clips here, and they can come down out of the way. But the exhaust, as you will see, I've already started, also has to come off to do this, which on older cars leaves a bit of an issue at that end. So here we are, the other end of the exhaust, and as you can clearly see, studs. At least I think these were studs and not just bolts, but there's not much of them left, and you can see the hole there where it did go through. And I was looking at it thinking, well, they're obviously worn, very worn. Which way do the studs go? So I'll give it a good old wiggle, and well, you can see what's happened. So I've got to take the rest of the system off and then have a look and see what can be done about these. Probably a grind down and drill through to be able to get a bolt through this and that for reassembly after I've done the rear anti-roll bar. So there's the front and here's the back. The back is just held on with rubbers, or in this case was. I'll weld that back on because the rest of the exhaust, it's the original exhaust this is, and the car's like, what, 19 years old? Yeah, 19 years old. It's the original, so I'll weld that back on. I'm not scrapping an exhaust just for that. And it's also held on with rubbers here. So the next job to do is remove the rubbers. There is a bracket, you can just see there. You have to undo that to allow it to drop down like this, but those bolts were not a problem at all. So I'll take these rubbers off and remove the exhaust. Okay, there we are, it's off. Not quite so good on the top, but it's just a shroud. Looks like it's got like sound deadening, heat proofing maybe, like a shroud. And the actual body of the exhaust itself looks fine. I might have to give that a bit of a scrape and see if it's bad or not, but other than that, that's got a couple of years left in it maybe. So it's a rubber at the back. You've got to tease it out of there. Much easier on here. These two bolts held, which way round did they go? That. It held that there. So it's just easier just to undo those. And then, yeah, off it comes. Obviously, I've still got to sort out the front, but I'll do that after I've done the anti-roll bar, which is there. And once I've got these off, should quite happily remove now. So, turning my attention back to removing this bar, I've slackened off or removed from the clips the handbrake cables on both sides, so they were in there, it's come out there. And on the rear trailing arm, supporting arm, complex suspension bit, because these P2s have a very complex suspension, which when they were brand new, I believe made them ride very well. So the last bit needed to remove this is a bolt there and the same on the other side. So 10 mil. Nope, that's on do up. I want to undo it. Bit of a rusty bolt head, but yeah, I think it's going to need two hands for this. They're trials and tribulations. How joyous. So, as you can probably see, that is a sort of a captive nut which was set into this, I think it's plastic, this piece is plastic, and the whole thing's come out rather than the bolt undoing from the captive nut. So that is typical. That is probably going to need to have some sort of adhesive put in there when I put it back, cleaned up, and adhesive put in when I put it back. Let's see if the other one does exactly the same. So if I can do it one-handed again. This one, oops, sorry. This one might be all right. Oh no, it's tightening up. This is probably going to do the same. Well, this one started to undo and then got tight and has come out. But looking at it, that captive nut is actually on a very coarse screw thread. A bit cleaner on that one than this. So that will probably go back in okay with a bit of persuasion. But for now, I'll try and get this phone on a tripod and see if I can get this out so you can see how well it goes, and then edit out any swearing later. Let's get that clip out from there. It's that one. This one clip from here. It's that one. So this should now, in theory, hopefully, maybe, possibly, come out, or possibly not, because what's in the way now? The suspension struts. But can I? This has got 4C suspension on it, which is Volvo's adaptive active chassis. 4C, continuously something chassis concept. Can't remember. Anyway, 4C as in the number 4 and then the letter C. And because of that, they've got this module on here, and this is going to make this quite tricky. What I am going to have to do is take off the... Really, you really can't see me because of the sunlight, can you? Mind you, that's probably better for you, to be fair. I'm going to have to take off the drop links for the ones at the stubborn end that wouldn't come out, so I think they're going to get cut off and replaced. Okay, so through using great care and precision and a big angle grinder, the original drop links are now off. As you can see, there's the part of the anterior bar. If I can get that shoved all the way over on one side, can I get this off? So tight. See, you're probably thinking, well, just cut the bar. Well, that's all very well, but still got to get the new one on. So, now I'm underneath it directly. Maybe it can't drop low enough. Maybe it's now sitting on my chest. So, maybe I need to move out of the way. Okay, here's how we do it. Get the bar shoved all the way over one side. So you can see it's tucked in behind the 4C shock there. And on this side, I can just tickle it around and it's out. It's free. There goes a 19-year-old anti-roll bar. Okay, one nice new shiny anti-roll bar drop link. Now I've not tightened up the anti-roll bar fully where it mounts onto the chassis framework, the suspension framework. So I'm going to get these in first. and loosely through there, so you can see it's just gone in through the anti-roll bar. Now this is going to be the interesting bit. Oh no, it's fine, straight through, not a problem. Do the same on the other side, and then go around and tighten everything up. Okay, time for a quick update. When I put the bar and these anti-roll bar drop links on, the handbrake cables were still down here. They're hanging down here. So as you can see on this side, like this. Now what I've noticed is that this handbrake cable should be on this side of the bar. So I've corrected it over here, as you can see. That is how it goes. So before putting the drop links on, make sure you put your handbrake cable on the correct side of the anti-roll bar so it will clip up without fouling. There it is, all tightened up. Leaving the sticker on so Mr. MOT man can see I've just spent a wedge load of money, and please don't fail it on anything else. Cool. Now I've got to put these troublesome handbrake, you can't see that, can you? Those troublesome handbrake clips back in. So I'm hoping that is just going to tighten back in the same way it came out. But, oh yeah, I think it is. But I am going to need two hands for that. You can just see I've started this one on this side now, and it seems to be tightening back up and holding. Is it going to let me tighten up? Or am I going to need to put a bit of WD on that? I think I probably am. Yeah, that's going to damage the thread in the plastic. So what I'm going to do on this one is take it back out. And because this captive nut has actually got a nut head on it, I'm going to make sure that I can get this nice and loose in there before I really try to tighten it into that. Okay, that's all done up and tight now. So as far as the anti-roll bar and the drop links are done, that's all finished. The handbrake cables are all up again correctly, so that's good and ready to go. Which means we've got to turn my attention back to this slightly troublesome exhaust. So as you saw earlier, the bolts are well and truly rotted to the point that when I moved the exhaust it just dropped away. And I'm quite pleased to found it now and not on the motorway. So how do I get these studs out? Are they studs? Well, I cheated earlier. I had a quick look and yes they are. So now I've got two holes that will line up with the holes of the DPF. I've bought a new gasket. I'll probably just clean this face off and this make this a bit flatter at the back. Just not too much, but just gently with the angle grinder, so that I can just put bolts through and bolt it up. And then when I need to get the exhaust off again, which I know I'm going to have to in the future, because the Haldex needs a service because my all-wheel drive doesn't work. So to do that, the prop shaft has got to come off, and to take the prop shaft off, the exhaust has got to come off. But I now know that's going to be nice and easy. Right, I've checked the exhaust over, I've welded on that bracket that had broken. There doesn't seem to be any holes or any problem with the main exhaust, so I may as well put it back on. I know that is a bit loose, but it's still holding on around there, and it's got this sort of fibrous sound insulation like I mentioned before. So for now I'm just going to put that back on, and if it starts blowing in the future I can replace it, but there doesn't seem to be any point in replacing it now. So let's get it back on. can take this supporting wire off, and the job's done. I hope this has been a helpful video for anyone who is thinking of or needing to replace the rear anti-roll bar, or indeed do anything with the exhaust, or you've found your exhaust is worn out where this one had. Looks like it's quite an easy fix. Yeah, if this has been helpful, please share it, and have a good day.